Hello children, welcome to the new academic year and myself Mrs Gayatri Gupta will be taking English for standard 7th. So let us start with our first chapter. But before that, I just want to request all the parents that Father Sudhir as well as Sister Fatima and all the teachers are really working hard for the online classes to be provided to the students. But it is my humble request to the parents also that you please take care that your child notes down each and everything that is been given so that the hard work and the cooperation of the teachers does not go useless. The first chapter is Frognapped. Frognapped, written by Janki Lenin. My whole world was rushing by fast. I was terrified. I hung on with all the stickiness that my toes allowed. I shut my eyes tight because I felt so dizzy. The air stank and some strange black dirt clogged my pores. My delicate toes felt fried in the heat and my eardrums just couldn't handle the noise. Finally, after nearly a lifetime, my world came to a standstill and I almost fell down from the dizziness. I was just gathering my wits when a voice yelled, "Hey Rome, there's a tree frog here. What to do?" "Just put him there by the bushes," the man called Rome answered. "Here, at the mechanic's? He will die." She sounded horrified. Rome tried to reassure her. "No, no, he will be fine." Was he crazy? How would I survive in this hot concrete jungle? "Give me that plastic bag," she hissed. "What are you going to do?" Rome asked. Just as I was about to make good my escape, she caught me with the bag. She sprinkled some water from her bottle, threw in some green leaves, and knotted the bag tight. She bit a small hole in the bag and tucked me into her knapsack. That is how I came to be frognapped. Although she kept the bag out of the sun in the auto rickshaw, it was stifling hot and I struggled to breathe. On the way, Rome declared that I was sure to die before they returned home, and she was as equally certain that she wouldn't let me. A little later, they stopped at a restaurant. After breakfast, she opened the bag and blew in a lungful of coffee-laden breath. I gagged and spluttered. Rom teased, "Is he still alive?" I caught her looking daggers at him as she tucked me back into the knapsack. By now, the air conditioner in the restaurant had helped me calm down, and I was almost all right. I even managed to doze off for a while. After lunch, she blew some more air into the bag. This time, her breath stank of raw onions. Hours later, Rome took the bag out of the knapsack and set it down on the seat of an air-conditioned vehicle. When was this nightmare going to end? Would I ever see my home again? After a long time, I woke up to see her peering at me. The bag was open. Seizing the opportunity, I leaped blindly and landed on the nearest tree. She exclaimed, "He looks normal. No sign of desiccation." I leapt further out of her reach. I looked around. I couldn't believe my luck. I was back home. Later that evening, when I narrated my adventures, none of my friends would believe me. By then, I could hardly believe the story myself and was almost sure that it had been a nightmare. Could any living creature survive the heat, the noxious air, and the noise of the place called a city? I keep having nightmares. What if my world begins to move when I go to sleep? What if I am not as lucky as I was the last time? I think I will take the advice of the friends I met during the last monsoon. They lived in that huge multi-roomed cave called a house. They had boasted of plentiful water, glowing nights at night that attracted a lot of insects, many places to hide, and none of those snakes or birds. Tonight, I am moving in. Now let us do with the explanation of the chapter. In this particular chapter, Frognapped, the main characters are the frog, who is the narrator, the lady, and Rome. So, children, today we are going to learn the first chapter of English Junction of class 7th, Frognapped. This lesson is an extract from My Husband and Other Animals by Janki Lennon. Janki Lennon is a writer, documentary filmmaker, and wildlife conservationist. Do you think living in a city would be good for a frog? Absolutely not. It would not be good for a frog. The city would be a dangerous place as it is full of people and the traffic, and the frog could easily be hurt. So now let's see what happens to the frog in our lesson. The characters: the frog, who is the narrator, the lady, and Rome. The frog was in the mechanic's shop when the women found him. The frog felt very hot, dizzy, and afraid in the beginning of the story. He could not handle the noise at the mechanic's shop. The frog almost fell down from the dizziness when suddenly he heard a lady's voice. The lady had found the frog. She put the frog in a plastic bag, sprinkled in some water, threw in some green leaves, and knotted the bag. Then she bit a small hole in the bag and put the bag in her knapsack. And that was how the frog was frognapped. The lady and Rome took the frog by an auto rickshaw, and a little later they stopped at a restaurant. The air condition in the restaurant made the frog feel better. The frog was not sure whether he would ever see his home again. Suddenly, the frog got a chance to escape. Seizing the opportunity, he jumped out of the moving vehicle and landed on the nearest tree. When he said his story to his friends, they did not believe him. He felt like it was a nightmare. Finally, he took the advice of his friends, whom he met during the last monsoon, who had lived in a huge multi-roomed cave called a house. They said that the house had plentiful water, glowing lights at night that attracted a lot of insects, many places to hide, and no snakes or birds. The frog decided to move to these huge multi-caved rooms in cities. Answer the following questions. Where was the frog when the woman found him? Answer. The frog was at the mechanic's. Second. How did the frog feel at the beginning of the story? Answer. The frog felt very hot, afraid, and dizzy at the beginning of the story. Number 3. What did the woman do after catching the frog? Answer. She put the frog in a plastic bag, sprinkled in some water, threw in some green leaves, and knotted the bag. Then she bit a small hole in the bag and put the bag in her knapsack. Number 4. Why did the frog feel better in the restaurant? Answer. The air condition in the restaurant made the frog feel better. Number 5. How did the frog get home? Answer. Suddenly, the frog got a chance to escape. Seizing the opportunity, he jumped out of the moving vehicle and landed to the nearest tree. Number 6. What happened when the frog told his friends about his adventure? Answer. When he said his story to his friends, they did not believe him. Number 7. What is the huge multi-roomed cave? Answer. The huge multi-roomed cave is called a home. Number 8. What are the things that the other frogs had said about this cave? Answer. They said that the house had plentiful water, glowing lights at night that attracted a lot of insects, many places to hide, and no snakes or birds. The assignment for you is write the meanings and question answers in your notebook. Meanings are already there in the first 3 slides along with the PDF of the chapter. Second question is you have to write two reference to context from the lesson. Reference to context is just like who said to whom. So the text is already there in the first three slides. So you could just find out reference to context and write it in your notebook. Thank you.